All right.
Ready, love?
Yeah, you're all done with the chips?
Yes. Came into the office today and Cap was like, oh God, the lesbian vampire movie. You gumshoes, I want this done now. And he threw it on our thing and he said, I want this solved today.
Well, it's been a very long cold case, and it hasn't been solved yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
In 2009.
Yep. So this was actually directed by
Phil Claydon.
So this is Phil Claydon's biography. On a stormy night in 1980, Phil saw a UFO. He was 4. That year, he also saw Empire Strikes Back. His destiny was set.
Sure.
He was going to tell the big screen stories. Decades later, he directed 3 feature films: Lesbian Vampire Killers, Within, and Alone. His latest scripts are the teen horror Oak, the teen comedy sci-fi Lust, and the award-winning Toxic. I've never heard of any of these movies.
You said something right there at the end.
This is a severe cold case that I have not even heard of.
If you can't say who gave you the award, it's like, oh, I did get a award for it. Who handed you that award? It's just a real magical night that it won. It's like, all right.
Okay, so we got the first writer, Stewart Williams. I think he's just basically all British television shows.
Yeah, I was going to say. And then I think the other guy is actually mostly TV shows as well.
All right, and so this writer, Paul Hupfield, and then his only feature film, it looks like, is Vampire Killers, a.k.a. Lesbian Vampire Killers.
Okay, so...
all right, so the cinematographer's name was David Higgs. Had actually done Rock and Rolla before, and he did Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows.
Wow.
The editor has gone on to do a lot of things. The editor's name is James Herbert. Did Aladdin.
The new one?
Yep, he did
That
King
movie
Arthur,
sucked ass.
Legend of the Sword in 2017.
That movie was dumb as hell.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. in 2015.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and he also did Edge of Tomorrow. And The Gentleman?
Guy Ritchie?
Guy
Yeah,
Ritchie,
Guy Ritchie,
the director.
Huh.
Then right after that, he did It's Alive and then Sherlock Holmes in 2009. Oh, he did them all the same year. Whoa, this guy's busy.
Hell yeah, he is.
Well, that's the thing about this movie. So he felt like a fan of Edgar Wright. Now, do you think that this was more or less a better fan film to Edgar Wright?
The Hyperions is really bad.
Okay. John McDonald for the Hyperions.
No, but to be fair, I had higher hopes for the Hyperions because I liked the trailer and the idea of the movie. Like, if you have high expectations for Lesbian Vampire Killers, you need some medical attention because you should not have high expectations with a movie with that title.
All right, and then now let's go ahead and move on to the Patsies. So we got James Corden as Fletch.
What's his name?
Corden.
For a long time until today, I thought it was James Corden.
Like with a G?
Yes.
Oh.
And I looked him up and I was like, oh, okay.
Corden.
And then I didn't care because it's not like he ever heard me say his name wrong.
All right, go on. So we're into the Patsy section.
James, yeah, I got, okay, what? Don't look.
Okay, go.
What's his middle name?
Are we supposed to know this information?
I don't know. Do you know it? Just guess.
It definitely wasn't in the cold case file, so I didn't read it.
You know why it wasn't in there?
Why?
Because you did this movie first, and you're a bad cop, and you don't fill out paperwork properly. His middle name is Kimberly. And then he has this dumbass little show, and he's famous for just singing in cars.
His Tonight Show?
Yeah, it's a James Corden show. And
That's
it's
a
like,
funny way to describe it.
He sings in cars, but it's just like we all sing in cars. We're not making that kind of money. That was
now, you were saying he didn't fit in this movie. He didn't really belong.
No, well, you could. Oh, well, here's something.
So my final question is, if your career had to begin again, what would you do differently?
The Lesbian Vampire Killers. It felt shit at the time, but no one could have really been aware quite how shit it is.
I'm going to watch it tonight, I think.
Don't do it. Yeah, I'd probably have passed on that one, I think.
First off, you can tell he did not agree.
Sure. You mean he didn't want to be in some sort of boner comedy?
Boner, it's a sex film. I just picture him taking the role, being on set, reading the script, hobnobbing with the people making it, and then when they turn around and he just like rolls his eyes and goes, "We're just degrading women at this point." The ladies that got the roles, they know what they're going into. They're not dumb. They're just like, "Yeah, I know what this is." But what's your favorite thing about James Kimberly Corden? What's your favorite thing that you? Because I know you're a big fan of him.
Actually, I think this is probably the best work he's ever done. The first time I ever seen him in a movie was Into the Woods as the baker, and then he popped up on Late Night.
And I actually heard that breaking out in England is one of the most difficult things to do. There's a real tight hierarchy and class system over there. And if you get on their bad side, you ain't gonna make it, kiddo. You know what I mean? I mean, things are changing now, right? Because we got the INI and YouTube and all that stuff. But back in the day, he's probably had to do a lot of brown nosing, which isn't a bad thing. We all do it.
So, in watching the trailer,
with us if you dare into a twilight world of unspeakable horror.
If the very thought of vampires makes your flesh creep.
What was that?
If you think all vampires are ugly creatures of the night, then you're in for a shattering surprise.
It's impossible, it cannot be. Vampires.
Vampires?
Lesbian vampires.
Next time, he'll have me bummed by a big gay werewolf, I swear.
The title is, lesbian vampire killers. What are you thinking it's gonna be? It's not. Surprisingly, it didn't win an Oscar in 2009.
Well, so anyway, going into the Rotten Tomatoes scores,
28.
Ooh.
Now, upon my research, which you probably couldn't find,
Audience score
32.
Oh boy. Now, would you rank this at 32%? Do you think it's funnier than that, or better than that?
No. I wouldn't rank it at all. And
So,
that's it.
well, let's just go into witnesses then. All right, so we got Paul. He said, this is just a 15-year-old boy's idea of a great night at the movies. Sexy ladies, lingerie.
Yep.
Who gets their heads lopped off? Wait,
What?
15-year-old boy wants people's heads to be lopped off?
Boys like action. Boys like violence.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
Christian says,
Uh-oh.
so they took out lesbians from the title vampire
I know.
killers,
See,
right?
and you know how they did
And then
that.
he
But
says
go on.
they must have also took out the funny jokes, the
Oh,
thrills,
oh.
and the engaging characters from this
Damn.
movie.
See, Christian, you're wasting
Boom.
your time. Where the people that made it know this already.
Well, why do you think Cap wanted us to solve this cold case so
Why
bad?
do you think most lesbians today look like 45-year-old middle-aged men? Why is that?
Oh, see,
the
that's
case?
where I have to disagree. I
Really?
think like lesbians are like
You're so
the most
off.
attractive females this world has ever seen. Pristine, made of porcelain.
I want to meet the
gorgeous
lesbians
women.
you know. The
Yeah.
ones I know, they beat me in arm wrestling. Oh, I found one man.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. Hey, you sound like you're from Britain. He goes, thank you. And I go, you ever see lesbian vampire killers? And he goes, yes, of course. And I went, great. Reminds me of the old Hammer films back in the 70s. I like the old Hammer films.
Hammer films.
Yeah, it's kind of like England's Universal with the monsters. You know?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Christopher
yeah.
Lee was a big boy in that. He did a
Nice.
bunch of Draculas. He was Frankenstein. He's the Mummy. They're really fun. British man, if I find you again on the streets, I'm going to beat you half to death.
What's
Because
wrong with
I
them?
got excited because I like the Hammer films. I really like Christopher Lee. He's in one of my favorite movies. My favorite, Horror Express.
Okay.
You want to watch a good vampire movie? Watch Horror Express. It has Peter Cushing. It's like in the 1800s. They get a prehistoric frozen vampire and they put it on a train. It's good. It's called Horror Express. My question to you is, if you could sleep with any of the vampiresses, which one would you have slept with? Yeah,
so
it is.
hard to
You're right.
choose.
Would you
and,
choose? Would you choose Lottie? Would you choose any of like the 17 that are at the graveyard that don't get?
there's all of them.
Wow, interesting. What about me? You don't
Speaking
ask
of
me?
which,
You don't
which
ask-
one would you?
I wouldn't
like
because
to,
I'm loyal to my wife.
Oh my gosh.
Shame on you, Jared.
So I agree with you. I think that's something that the movie was missing in those old classic Hammer films. I don't think that was working for me.
Yeah,
at
but
all.
you're just like asking a lot out of this cold case, which
Okay.
really just shows what kind of a detective you are, bad one. Because this movie is a simple case.
Well, maybe that's why I'm not able to solve it. I'm always looking deeper.
Because
I'm
there's
always
nothing
looking
to
for
solve,
deeper
Jared.
meaning.
You take everybody involved, and I mean everybody involved, and you throw them in the drunk tank. It's a little night out. It's a little
Okay,
mistake.
hold on for a second. So you're saying that this case is just a waste of everybody's time?
It's not a waste of everybody's time, you know, because there's people out there and they're causing a disturbance, especially in England, because their rules are way more lame than us, dude. Because you know, like I dare people to try and make this movie right now in England. You make this movie today, you're gonna get a bunch of Ivy League people, you know, and higher upper class educated.
Well, they're already censoring. They're
Exactly,
taking
and they're
out-
going to be outside of the.
They're taking
you
out the
can't-
pulp classic
How
of the
dare
movie.
you do this? You can't.
You're right. This is a drunk take case.
It is.
Why
Everyone.
did and Cap just gave it to us literally
Yes.
because we're the worst detectives, and this is the type of cases we're working on now?
No, we're not.
Or is he taking us away from like actual cases that are coming out next week or happening soon?
All that
He's like,
kinda
oh,
stuff.
you guys, why don't you leave this case to the
Right.
big boys, and
Right.
here's a cold case
Right.
of a 2009
Can I be
kiddie
honest with
movie?
you?
Is
I
that
feel
what
like,
happened to
well,
us?
I almost feel like he went down into the cold case files.
Yeah?
And I also think sometimes he confuses our office with storage next door, and he just threw it in here, and now maybe you just think we're supposed to do it.
Wait a minute. Do you think he was just like flipping through this? Because sometimes in those case files, there's
Yeah.
some photos, especially
on.
in the movie like this.
Yeah.
There's some titties in there. So he's looking at that.
Like Bing Bongs?
And what's the girl's name who hates all the paperwork that I mishandle downstairs in the archive?
Diana?
Diana. Yeah. So she probably creeped up behind him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And he like freaked out. Whoa! He's like, yeah, this is just a case file I got for the
Interesting.
boys upstairs.
See, that's interesting.
Jonathan Jared.
See, because
they got to work on this. They
That's
gotta
really
get this done right away.
that could be possible, but he lives by the old gender roles, Jared. That's what he does.
Is that why he walks around with an erection like all day?
I don't want to freak you out,
Yeah.
but that's him flaccid.
Are you serious right now?
Yes.
At first, I thought it was just the fabric of his pants.
Nope.
That kind of like bushed out in the crotch area.
Because I'll tell you, because I saw that and I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I bought a pair.
Oh.
Opposite effect. Cap
you
will
can-
look at nudie girls in front of everybody. What's wrong?
Well,
this is what I like. Go, all right, Cap.
You know what I'm happy for? The fact that this movie's been out for how long now?
2009.
Now do the math on that.
Okay, that's gonna be, I don't know, 12
Let's just
years.
say it's more than 10. I've been struggling with this case for a long time.
I don't know why.
Now you just come right in.
It's a very easy case.
You tell me how to do it.
Yeah, the case is
Solve
very
it in a
simple.
second. So who are we throwing away here?
All of
Who are we
them.
putting in jail?
One night drunk tank.
Okay, one night drunk tank.
It's just gonna be awkward because it's been so long. So you're gonna have to go all the way to foggy London town and arrest all these British people.
You think Alex Garland is home? Maybe he can maybe I can just stay with him a couple days because
I wouldn't.
our budget
no.
right
No,
now.
I actually
very
no.
slight.
You know what? I'll go.
Yeah.
You don't worry about it. I'll
Okay,
go.
you'll just go do it.
Yeah.
Ah, perfect.
I don't want you to buy.
Because I have some stuff. I have some more cold case files to do.
Jesus.
Because we got Roadhouse. That's still a cold case file.
How do you not
we
solve
have
that
to do
one?
that. You not solve that one?
No.
I'm just trying to get an opportunity to watch Patrick Swayze with his shirt off with a guy that I respect.
Just come over to my house.
That
I got
is
like
you.
12 posters.
Oh, perfect.
Hell yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I like Patrick Swayze.
So you would not recommend this movie to anybody? You'd say not
It's
even
not.
worth
It's
for-
not something you recommend. It's not something you don't recommend.
Perfect.
Here's the thing: no one is going to come up to you or me or anybody for that matter and ask, "Have you seen lesbian vampire kill?" That's not a sentence. That's not a thing people say. Here's the movie: your wife got a business trip out of town, and you're really nervous to look up some type of pornography on the devices at home. So you end up being on Amazon, and you're just like, what movie can I watch that if it shows up on my continue watching, or shows up on my because you watched, or shows up on my watch again list, that won't get me in that much trouble? And you say, fuck it. You watch Lesbian Vampire Killers. You spend $6 for an 87-minute movie. You last 3 minutes. You go to bed. Your wife comes home 2 weeks later. Hey, babe, you watch this movie, Lesbian Vampire Killer? Oh, what? No, I must have fallen asleep and then the next movie just played.
So there you go. There you have it. I guess thank you for solving that case.
Can I ask you one question before we go?
Absolutely.
How come you pause it and take so many pictures during the movie?
Just, you know.
Yeah. Phone's making a little vibrate. Is it your wife?